Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to our WCN Author Spotlight. It is our, goodness, Jodi, it's our third Author Spotlight, a video podcast that we've just recently created on the Whole Care Network. And what a better person to have than my good friend and podcaster on the Whole Care Network, Jodi O'Donnell-Ames. Jodi, it's good to see you.
Great to see you as always, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Oh, and you just had a book published, Hope Givers.
I did. Hope Givers was published on May 1st.
As I've inquired with the other authors that have completed our podcast, how did it feel to have that book in your hand that first day when it arrived?
Very exciting. It took me 2 years to write Hope Givers and 24 podcast conversations, 25, I believe, which, as you mentioned, is proudly shared on WCN.
Gratitude to Latitude is still available.
Gratitude to Latitude, yes.
Available on demand and still getting downloads.
Which is exciting. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It felt like a very happy completion of just another aspect and time and part of my life.
When we first talked about your book and you told me the title, Hope Givers, what struck me on that, and we've known each other, goodness, almost 10 years now, I think we've known each other.
I believe so.
And but when you told me that the name of the book, Hope Givers, it kind of took my breath away in a sense, because if there's one thing I've known about you over the last 10 years, you are someone that gives hope. So I'd like for you to talk about the title of the book and what resonated with you there, because as I've known you, you encourage so many people by your story, and you are a hope giver in and of yourself.
Thank you so much, Chris, and you're a hope giver as well. So the easiest way to describe a hope giver in my mind is when you think about people and they're not with you and you think about them and a smile immediately comes to your face, those are your hope givers. Those are the people that bring you hope, joy, and those are the people that also make you feel supported, loved, and respected. So the idea came to me because COVID happened and we were all at that time in the same boat. And it just made me realize that there are so many people who I miss those people. I miss my hope givers. I wanted to connect with them. And so I thought, why not start a podcast? And fortunately, for your help there, and have conversations with those people during COVID when I couldn't see them, and really have connection. We all want to feel connected, respected, loved, supported, and we want to have a purpose. So having conversations with those individuals, including yourself, reminded me that I have so many people in my life to be grateful for. And I wanted to celebrate the things they have taught me and really how our relationships have arrived in an amazing time in my life, the right time in my life, and have encouraged me to also be a hope giver. So it's just something that's cyclical and incredible and amazing.
And I know people have heard me say this time and time again, but it is through our stories where we not only get to learn about other people, but we also find out that we're not that much different.
Exactly.
We're all on, and you you talk about this, and there's a special word that'll come out here in a little bit, but that journey, that path that each one of us is on, which has been so clearly defined in the book with all the guests that have been on the podcast, because everybody is on a journey. Everybody is trying to find that happy space in life where they're giving hope and receiving hope.
We are all on a journey, and the thing that I talk about the most is that part of that journey for us as individuals is we have plans. We are constantly making plans. And of course, I believe it was John Lennon said that life's what happens when you're busy making other plans. But those plans are positive,
right?
We think about and dream about our next vacation and having another child and the ultimate career. We're always planning these things. And what we fail to realize is that adversity is a part of life. And we don't plan for adversity. We plan for all those wonderful things. And once we realize that adversity will happen, we don't know when it will happen, but it will happen, and prepare ourselves to think about how we'll respond. Having clear coping methods, for example,
right,
and support systems and resources in place. That's a big part of my book as well, because having hope is a part of that plan. Difficulties will knock you down.
right.
But the hope is that there is a future. The hope is that there's still many wonderful blessings to come.
And I think, and I don't mean to put this in simplistic terms, but and I guess it's a cliche that comes to mind here. I've chosen, and especially as I've gotten older, to be a glass half full person instead of a glass half empty person. As I look back, maybe in my 20s and 30s, I was probably a glass half empty. Still had hopes and desires, but it's like age has kind of changed me in a sense that I'm a glass half full, trying to get it to the top. And I think that's when you change that mindset about choosing hope, and you've done that so well in your career and your life, because you've had some ups and downs and challenges that I think our listeners and our viewers would like to know just a little bit about.
Yeah, I think that simple analogy is perfect. We do talk about that, half glass full. And with age comes perspective. I think as we're younger, we think of all of the things that have gone wrong. And as we get older and look back, we can think about all the things that have, with time, right? We can think about all the things that have gone right. And, my background has had a lot of hiccups, if you will, and challenges. And as regarding my guests, all of them have had challenges.
Right.
And I think having that opportunity to connect and share these personal and vulnerable stories, whether it's, myself being widowed at 35 and having no idea how to go on, and being so sad and so depressed that showering, the thought of showering was overwhelming to me.
No.
Or the thought of just planning a meal. These things I was not capable of doing those things because I was so absolutely sad and grief-stricken. And then having these conversations with people who have been through enormous challenges, assault and loss of a son through suicide and loss of a partner like yourself, and trying to find a way to move forward. I don't even say going on, it's moving forward with these experiences. Having these conversations reminds me that we all have the ability to choose to move forward if there's hope. If we feel like there's something that can restore a smile. And I like to say, I found my way back to dancing and to smiling and being creative, because those things were huge in my life. And then I got to a point where I was a shell of my former self. And my friends will tell me, you were not yourself. For years, you were not funny. You were not silly. You didn't want to dance or go out to dinner. And I would avoid those situations and just say, I can't, I just didn't want to be around people. And the fact that now I am reconnected and love being with people and having conversations like this just reminds me that I am back to being full of hope and being a hope giver as well.
And I think that message is so important because, life does present challenges. There's ups and downs. Everybody goes through them. I've not met anybody that has a Pollyanna life per se.
Exactly.
But it's how we choose to take those experiences in our own time and choose hope. And that's right. It's one of those phrases that was in the book that just seems so simple, yet it's different for everybody. The path to choosing hope, to making that decision that your glass is half full. And
it's big mindset.
It's a mindset, right?
It's a mindset.
Yeah. And I think what you've accomplished here is you've demonstrated through your book so many different journeys by a variety of people who have been on your podcast that are all on the same path of hope.
That's exactly right. These were 25 different conversations of people who, to me, when I think of them, I smile, like yourself, hope givers. But if you met them, you would have no idea of the trauma that they have experienced and the difficulties, because those people, those individuals are choosing hope. And that is a mindset. I talk about mindset in the book.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me, in my 50s, I really did not start this journey of hope until my 40s, because I was doing a lot of grieving in my 30s. And until I found a process of understanding who I was, who I am, and who I wanted to be, and creating that strategic plan, if you will, and that path that had thoughtfulness around it.
Right.
That's when my world opened up.
And I'm not sure I can articulate this properly, but what comes to mind is, we've got our history and our past that often impacts decisions in the here and now. But when you make that conscious decision to choose hope, I don't know if there's, and I know I can't pinpoint it in my life when that change happened. I just know that it did. And as I read through the book, that resonated with everybody, that whatever change people were going through, they found that path to looking to looking for hope, providing hope, and sharing their stories, and being a hope giver to others. And that's something that I've known about you since day one.
Well, I think that as humans, we want to survive and we want to have a purpose. And things can get in the way of that. We can face obstacles that can temporarily set us back. But with the proper mindset and the right resources and the right people around us, I talk about the fabulous five, these people around us, we can overcome. We will overcome and choose hope. And that has been evident in every story on my podcast.
Very
I
much
sit
so.
there and I think, how did Maureen forgive, a man who assaulted her, abducted and assaulted her? How did she forgive someone like that? And could I forgive? And these are all choices that we have to make in this process, this journey, this story, and in choosing hope.
And some of that has to do with kind of being around positive, like-minded people and making those hard choices about who you're hanging out with.
Very much so. There are hope givers and really there are hope takers. There are hope givers and there are hope takers. And I choose to be around the people that provide positivity and hope in general. And that means less television. That means less gossip. That means less judgment. People that do less of those things. Those are the people that I spend time with.
And that helps with the mindset.
Absolutely.
One of the other areas that you talk about in the book, the rule of three, and I think it just fits so perfectly during the conversation here.
So the rule of three is a way to focus on who you are and who you want to become. I've spent a lot of time thinking about that from my youngest ages, and I'm very honest in Hope Givers about, having times in my life where I was extremely jealous of other people or blaming people for what I did not have and coming to terms with that. So the rule of three involves first clarity. You have to know who you are. You have to know your strengths, your challenges, your triggers, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not perfect. We're humans trying to be perfect, but we are so far from perfect. So clarity, who are you? And who made you who you are? Every experience you ever have has contributed to who you are on this very day. Every person you've met, every failure, every success, you are the culmination of all those things. And you have the ability to keep what you like and correct what you find is not a great feature. So clarity is key. And then purpose. What gets you out of bed in the morning? It has taken me, Chris, 58 years to get to a point of knowing exactly how my next 2 years of my life are going to be. And from there, my plans, I have plans that I am in control of. I'm going to school to get my master's in social work.
That is so cool. We're about the same age, and when I went back to get my master's degree. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So congratulations. I mean, it's awesome. So my plan, I have a plan, I have a focus, I have a plan, and I can see where the next 5 years of my life of course, that's all positive, and and I'm doing what we do is we plan for the best.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a plan. I know my purpose is to share my experiences to help others. And I'm a caregiver. I am a founder. I am a writer. I'm an observer. And I'm a communicator. And giving voice to all of that is what empowers me. So the third item is priorities. One of the things I really have concentrated on in the last year or so, and a part of writing Hope Givers, is to prioritize. Creating a plan and really saying this is what you're focusing on without all of the distractions. That's really hard to do.
It is.
It's so hard to do. There are distractions now more than ever. We have phones, we have 800 stations, we have Sirius radio in the car that can distract us while we're even driving. There's just so many distractions, and we have to be able to control those distractions and focus on what are the steps, what are the priorities for me to achieve this end goal, and how do I get there, and really sticking to it,
and feeling. And I'm going to transfer something from me to you here that I think is going to be okay. And feeling comfortable in saying no.
Absolutely. Feeling comfortable saying no is, and maybe this is the same for you, but in many ways you have to experience enough life and enough years to get to the point where you can make these decisions and say, you know what? I'm comfortable with saying no to that because it no longer serves me, and it's no longer part of my dialogue.
It's kind of like being a sojourner.
Yes, it is a word that I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah,
Seventh
that's it.
grade.
Yeah, I said, I got to find a spot to mention this word because that was
Love that
something
word.
that resonated with me. And it's early on in the book when you talk about it that that word that came that you didn't know anything about, but it kind of defines life in so many ways.
We are just here serving a purpose for a very short period of time, sojourner. And I was introduced to that word in seventh grade when I joined the school yearbook, which was copy and paste, by the way. I mean, really, really old school. And my love for writing started then. My love for writing started before then, but understanding the value of our thoughts and putting them into print was huge for me. And I didn't know what a sojourner was. And we are, as you mentioned, we are all sojourners in this experience here. Just here for a short time. And what do we want that to look like?
And I am so glad that our journeys have crossed paths. Goodness.
Same here.
Yeah. So Jodi, let everybody know how they can purchase the book. And of course, we're going to have all the links available in the show notes, but it's great for the author to talk about where people can purchase the book and learn more about the great work that you do at Hope Loves Company and everything. And it's just your terrific background on your sojourn.
So Hope Givers can be found on Amazon. It is available in ebook and in paperback, which is great. And currently I am serving Hope Loves Company, the only nonprofit which provides educational and emotional support to children and young adults who either have had or have someone living with ALS in their lives, serving as a board member there. And I speak about my caregiving experience. I speak about my book, Hope Givers, Living a Life with Purpose, and many other topics. And I love connecting with other hope givers as well.
And I am so glad that you and I have connected. And Jodi, I have the book right here. So cool. It is so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you so much.
We'll have all of Jodi's contact information where you can purchase the book on Jodi's landing page on the Whole Care Network in the show notes here. And we will be playing Jodi's podcast on our WCN streaming radio app. It's on demand, but we're going to fit all the 26, I think, episodes.
I think so.
We're going to put those on schedule for July, and we'll start from the first episode, and we'll go for the whole roll 26. We'll roll all 26 episodes through the month of July, and they are available on demand. Gratitude to Latitude. And I am very grateful for my friendship with Jodi O'Donnell-Ames. Jodi, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris, for all that you do. Thank you for being a great friend. And thank you for this opportunity to share more about Hope Givers, and most importantly, for being one.
I'm very grateful for our friendship.
Same here.